Welcome to yoga. Glad you came today. Today we're going to continuing with our work on stress reduction, or yoga as a tool for stress reduction in this busy time. We're going to focus today on breathing as a tool. And the ancient yogis, well, first of all, breath work or pranayama is one of the 8 limbs of yoga, and some say the most important part. It certainly is a part of the whole yoga practice, but the ancient yogis believed that breathing was an important tool for health, wellness, vitality. So we're going to explore some different breathing techniques today and things that you can do at home too. So we'll start as usual by centering. So you can do that seated or supine. So find your preferred way or the way you'd like to start today. And begin by noticing the space around you. Okay, so notice where your body is in contact with the mat or the ground. Notice the space, the air, and how it feels against your skin. Notice the feeling of your clothing against your skin. And then just gradually bring your awareness from outside to in. Close your eyes. Can help you to keep that focus inside. And just begin with a gentle body scan, bringing your awareness methodically to each part and just noticing any sensation. Notice if you do notice a sensation, if it feels like it might be tension or maybe a little pain, just make sure that you are non-judgmental in what you notice and just accept it as where you are today and where your body is. And remember to have compassion for your body. It's supporting you as best it can. And so you want to help it along in that. So that means not working through pain, modifying poses so that they feel good. And as you finish up your scan, then move your attention, awareness to your breath. So without trying to change it, just notice breath. So that's going to be a focus for us today. So you need to know, before we begin to work with breath, need to know what your baseline is, where you're starting. So notice qualities of your breath. So whether it seems to be deep or shallow or somewhere in between, fast or slow, again, or any place in between. Whether the inhale or exhale is longer, if there's any pause going on. So just, there's no right or wrong way, it's just the way you're breathing right now. And just for a little background, most of us breathe only into the upper 30% of our lungs, so shallow breathing, and this can be caused by stress or it can cause stress. So we just take in less oxygen than is optimal. And that means that there's less oxygen going out to the cells to provide what's necessary to create energy. The more oxygen creates ATP, which is a chemical that produces energy for our movement. So vital energy. So the more oxygen, the better we move, the clearer our brains are. So now we're going to do a first step to our pranayama practice, which is we're going to begin pranayama, intentional breathing, starting with the 3-part breath, sometimes called belly breathing. It just means your relaxed belly and you're breathing deeply and slowly. So as you begin your inhale through your nose, you're breathing through your nose now. As you begin your inhale, let the air go down into the bottom of your lungs. Your belly will rise, and then your rib cage expands. And as you continue the inhale all the way up to your collarbones, so the whole abdominal cavity or trunk is expanding. And then as you exhale, everything from the top down settles back toward the center. Release and relax. So the inhale brings in the energy, that's the sympathetic nervous system, and the exhale relaxes the parasympathetic nervous system. And these need to be in balance in our bodies to be healthy. So when we're doing, just continue the belly breathing for a few more rounds. When we get into the stress response, the fight or flight, which is the sympathetic nervous system, that sends adrenaline out to the muscles, making them stronger and tighter. And then if we actually do flee or fight, that energy is used up and we go back to our normal state. But in our stressful world today, we can be triggered into fight or flight by watching the news, or even a thought in our heads, or an argument with someone, which it's not a life or death situation, but our body responds with that adrenaline. And when it's not used up by fleeing or fighting, it stays in our bodies longer, and that making tight muscles, and that's called stress. And when that becomes chronic, when we don't get out of that mode, when that's kind of the way we are, that is called anxiety. And anxiety is the root of many of our illnesses today. So okay, so we've done some belly breathings, practice the slow, deep, even, and we're going to add a little counting to it, and we're going to change the ratios a little bit. So before we start, I'm going to just tell you about it. So we're going to inhale to a count of, well, first, I tell you what, I'll just walk you through it before we start. So exhale completely. Keep your eyes closed. Take a complete exhale. And then inhale to a count of 4 through your nose. Then at the top of the inhale, when you fully inhaled, pause, hold the breath for a count of 4. And then exhale to a count of 8. So as you get into this, you can have your tempo or your count be whatever's comfortable for you. What you don't want to do is create anxiety, and that's totally counterproductive here. This is a calming breath. So inhale to your count of 4. Filling the lungs completely, slow, gentle. pause at the top for 4. Exhale to a count of 8. You can change the ratio to 3-3-6 or 2-2-4. Just whatever's comfortable for you. We're going to do it for about a minute, so just relax into it. Make sure your face stays relaxed. Don't accumulate any tension, any extra effort here. And try to follow the breath with your mind so you don't get carried away by thoughts. If your mind starts to wander, come back to the counting, come back to the breath. Just a couple more rounds. And then just let go of the practice, but please continue to breathe slow, deep, and even. And the extended exhale lowers your heart rate, normalizes your blood pressure, relaxes your muscles, and helps to eliminate the toxins. So 70% of the toxins in our body come out with our exhale. That's mainly the carbon dioxide. So if you want to practice, if you want to have a home practice to decrease stress or just to bring yourself back to a calm place, a breathing pattern with exhale longer than inhale is great for that. Okay, so based on what you've seen and why you came to yoga today, please take a moment or two to create an intention for your practice, something that you'd like to achieve, or a state of mind, or something in your body, or whatever you want, and repeat your positive affirmation, intention a few times in your mind. And we will begin practice on our backs. So make your way onto your back. Have your legs be long, arms down by your side. Spread your fingers and toes, just like if you were in mountain pose. Press your hands lightly into the mat, lengthen out through your legs gently. And remembering slow and deep, even breaths. As your inhale comes, raise your hands up toward the ceiling and back overhead. Let the movement match the breath. And as you come to an exhale, draw your right knee into your chest, squeeze it in. Inhale, lengthen out in 2 directions, arms and right leg. Exhale, draw your left knee into your chest, squeeze it in. Inhale, stretch out in 2 directions. So continue in this pattern, alternating the legs on the exhale. And here again, breathe. The way we breathe in asana is the slow, deep, even breath. So the inhale is usually matched to a lengthening, and the exhale into a drawing in or a stretch. Be very aware of moving with your breath. And the next time you draw your right knee into your chest, pause and continue breathing. So when you hold a pose, again, be aware, practice breathing slowly, deeply, and evenly. And then inhale, lengthen out your right leg, bring your arms overhead one more time. And exhale, draw your left knee into your chest and hold it, squeeze it in for a few breaths. Now take both legs up toward the ceiling. If you're standing on the ceiling, reach your arms up, hands, fingers toward the ceiling, and do a little flexing and extension, or flexing and pointing of your feet, your hands, so you're moving your wrists and ankles, and then rotating in circles around both ways, just juicing up the ankles and wrists. And then bring your feet to the mat. Knees are bent, or you can have the knees straight here. We're gonna do a twist. Straighten out your legs, straighten them out. Just gently lengthen out. Bring your arms out to shoulder height, palms face up. I'm gonna do some shoulder work here. A lot of us carry tension in our necks and our shoulders. Spread your fingers, and on an inhale, lengthen out through your left fingers and bring your arm, reach up, up, up toward the ceiling. Bring the left palm over to meet the right palm. Slide it out beyond the right palm. And then bring it up, back up, and over. A few more times. Left arm reaches up, lengthens out, comes over to meet the right. If your left hip comes off the floor, just edge it down. It's okay if it comes up a little bit, but try to keep pressing it down so the stretch is more in the upper back. One more time. And then we'll do it to the other side. So this time you're going to reach out through the right fingertips, reach them up toward the ceiling, and twist toward the left. Slide your palm over, let your hip come up, and then come back over. One more time. And then draw both knees into your chest, hug your knees in. Take a little rocking right around on your pelvis if that feels good, or you might want to do a happy baby. Knees toward your armpits. Anything that feels good. And then cross your legs and rock up to seated. You can sit on a blanket if you want to raise your hips up a little bit. We're going to just do a couple things from a seated posture. So cross your legs, or you can have them straight, whatever's comfortable. Sit with a nice tall spine, hands on your knees. Look straight ahead at a wall or space and just imagine a big clock. We're going to do a little exercise with our eyes, something we don't usually pay attention to in yoga, but we're going to now. So imagine a big clock. So straight ahead from your nose is the center of the clock, and then the numerals around the outside. It's an old-fashioned clock. And you're going to have a soft gaze. Nothing's going to move except your eyes, and I'm going to lead you. So on an inhale, look up toward 12 o'clock. Exhale, come back to the center. Inhale, look over to 3 o'clock. Exhale, back to the center. 9 o'clock, center. 6 o'clock, center. 1 o'clock, center. 11 o'clock, center. 5 o'clock, center. 7 o'clock, center. 2 o'clock, center. 10 o'clock, center. 4 o'clock, center. 8 o'clock, center. This is a brain exercise for me. Okay, we'll do a couple more. 9 o'clock, center. 10 o'clock, center. 11 o'clock, center. 12 o'clock, center. 6 o'clock, center. 5 o'clock, center. 4 o'clock, center. 3 o'clock, center. 2 o'clock, center. 1 o'clock, center. 7 o'clock, center. 8 o'clock, center. 9 o'clock, center. 6 o'clock, center. I don't know if I forgot the 6 o'clock. Anyway, rub your palms together, hands together, palms, rub, 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 generate some heat. Then cup your palms over your eyes. Open your eyes and look into the darkness. Just gentle gaze. You might be able to feel the warmth, and then bring your hands down. That's called palming, and that's also a calming thing to do. Okay, so then take your right fingers out away from your body, resting on the mat. On an inhale, take your left arm up, side bend to the right. Bend your elbow a little bit if that feels good. Big stretch up the left side of the body. Inhale, left fingers go down, right hand comes up, side bend left. Press down through your hip. And then inhale, so just go side to side like that. Stretching out the sides of your body. Reaching out through the fingers, down through the hip. Moving with the breath. Slow, deep, even breath. Next time you come to the right, hold. Continue breathing. Lengthen on the inhale, soften on the exhale. One more breath. Then inhale to the other side. Take 3 breaths. And then Inhale, come back to center, and come on over onto all fours. Tabletop position. Make sure your wrists are under your shoulders, your knees are under your hips. Spread your fingers, press down into the ball mounts of your fingers. Press into the knees and the tops of your feet. And begin some gentle cat-cows. So inhale, tailbone goes up, chest moves down through your arms. Exhale, push the mat away, tuck your tailbone, tuck your chin, spinal flexion. Inhale, extension. Don't look up too high, just look up ahead toward the end of your mat. Exhale, move with your breath. How's the breath? Slow, deep, even. Next time you come to an exhale and round your back into cat, let your hips go all the way back toward your heels. Now walk your hands forward about 1 hand length, so it's a little more of a stretch. And this time we're gonna do a different flexion extension. So on your inhale, scoop up. So drag your chin, your chest toward the floor as you come up, and then come onto your straight arms, your thighs toward the floor. So sort of an upward facing dog pose. Then exhale, begin to tuck and round and move back towards child's pose. You probably won't go all the way. Inhale, scoop up, come up, all the way up. Exhale, round your back toward child's pose. This is more like a puppy pose because you don't get all the way down. Scoop up, round back. Still moving with your breath. One more. And next time you come back towards child's pose, go ahead, come all the way back. Let your hands come back. Rest your head on your hands, or down. Arms can be by your side. Child's pose. Just let yourself sink into it. Breathe. Notice the energy moving through your body after some movement. Now come back up to tabletop. Walk your hands ahead a little bit. Bring your shoulders over your wrists. Firm up your core. Lower down slowly, keeping your elbows next to your side. Chin comes down first, then chest. Come onto your front body. Come onto your forearms. So your elbows are under your shoulders, hands shoulder width apart. Energetically drag your elbows back and your chest through your arms. Just have your gaze down about a foot ahead of your hands, down toward the mat. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Sphinx Pose. Press your pelvis into the mat. And breathe. Shoulder blades are moving down and back together. And now make a little pillow with your hands. Stack your hands on top of each other and rest your forehead on your hands. Just rest, breathe. And then bring your hands under your shoulders. Come back up to tabletop, all fours. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Pedal your feet out a little bit. And then look up between your hands and walk your feet up toward your hands, coming into a forward bend at the top, toward the top of your mat. Knees bent a little, at least a little, maybe more. And just let your upper body hang, lengthen out your low back. Hands can be, you can hold on to opposite elbows or just let your hands hang on the mat or have your hands on your legs, whatever works for you. Just hang out here for a couple breaths. Then bring your hands to your shins, come up halfway with a flat back, lengthen out, fold forward one more time. Then inhale, lengthen out, press into your feet, come all the way up, palms touch, down to your heart center. And we'll build a mountain pose. So feet are hip width apart or closer. Lift and spread your toes without looking, just feel the four corners of your feet, the big toe mound, the little toe mound, and the corners of your heels. Set your toes down, press down through the four corners of your feet. Feel the quadriceps, kneecaps rise, quadriceps tighten a little bit. Tuck your tailbone just a smidge. Shoulders come up, back and down, long in the side waist. Externally rotate your arms so your palms face to the front. Spread your fingers, reach down, lift up through the crown of your head, and then decrease your effort by just 10%, just a little decrease. So you maintain your alignment, mountain pose, stable, pressing down, rooting down through your feet, but easy too, no extra effort. You're lifting through the crown of your head, rooting and lifting. Now come back to your breath. Close your eyes if you have the balance. It's always nice to do this against a wall if you have that available. Just come back to your breath. Come back to a nice full inhale, little pause at the top, and then exhale. No counting. Nice deep inhale, pause, exhale. A few more just like that. Okay, now we're going to do some things with the shoulders. Again, that's where we tend to carry a lot of tension. So bring your shoulders hard up by your ears, way up, as high as you can go. Squeeze and then let them go. So we're going to inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. A few more times. Inhale up. Okay, then pause. And we'll do a slower shoulder rolls. We're going to roll only backwards because we tend to maybe do a little more forward hunching. So we're going to bring shoulders just up gently, roll them back, open the chest, and come back to middle. Just nice, slow shoulder rolls. This can feel really good if your shoulders get tight, your neck feels stiff. Just work it out. And then pause that. And you're still in mountain pose. Take the palms of your hands to the back of your sacrum so your thumbs are facing out. Bring your shoulders together, squeeze your shoulder blades together, elbows back, lift your heart. It's a back bend, and this can be really helpful with neck and shoulder pain. So just open your heart, squeeze your shoulder blades together, breathe. You can bring your gaze up a little too, if that feels okay. Just take some slow, deep, even breaths here. Relax your face. You're still rooting down and lifting up. And then come back out. So you're at the front edge of your mat. I'm going to be sideways so I can demonstrate a little better. Take your left toes out about 40 feet or hip width apart. Take your left toes out about 45 degrees and take a big step backward, with your left leg. So feet are not on the same lines. We're going to warrior one. Bend your right knee over your right ankle. Make sure you can see your right toe. Press down into both feet. Your back leg is going to be internally rotating. And then take your arms back. Palms are spread and reaching down toward the floor. So heart open, shoulder blades together on the back. This is open-hearted warrior. And you can gaze up a little if that feels okay. And held pose, you're going to breathe slow, deep, even. So what you're going for is the feeling of stability, pressing into both feet. That's your stability. Lifting up, opening your heart, and breathing. Always nice to close your eyes if you can have the balance. Otherwise, just follow your breath. And then bring your arms down, step your left foot forward. Take 2 rounds of half sun just to bring some movement, and any half sun you want. Inhale, arms go up, exhale, forward fold. You can come up with a half lift or chair pose, anything you want. One more. Okay, and then we'll do the other side. So this time, feet are apart, hip width. Take your right toes out and a big step back. Bend your left knee over your left ankle. I forgot to say it before, but nudge your right hip forward. You want your hips to be squared to the front edge of the mat. Press down into both feet. Feel your foundation lift. Spread your toes. Then press down. And then bring your arms out to the side, palms face forward, thumbs back. Take your gaze up a little bit. And breathe. Let's go for 5 slow, nice, deep breaths. And then come back to center. And we'll come back to mountain pose. Build it mindfully from your foundation up, getting everything to line up. Rooting down, lifting up. Relax your face, your jaw, your neck. Let go of anything. Let the shoulders come down from the ears. Gently bring the shoulder blades together on the back, so open chest. Breathe in, pause, breathe out. Imagine your lungs just filling all the way, not over-efforting, but nice full breath in, bringing oxygen, prana to all the cells in your body. A little pause at the top for stillness. And then exhale, fully releasing all that you do not need. And then inhale your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Step your feet back into downward facing dog. Take any movement in down dog that you'd like. And then perhaps bend your knees really deeply. Send your tailbone up. Make sure you're pressing into your hands. And then maybe slowly straighten your legs out a little bit. Pressing your heels toward the floor. Make sure your neck is supple so you can move it. Shake your head yes and no. Just take a few breaths in down dog. And then as you come to an inhale, let your knees come to the floor. Take your feet out to the side and come over onto your back. Take a block if you have it, or you can go next to the wall. We're going to do legs up. So if you have a wall handy, it can be really nice to scoot your hips right up next to the wall and then turn around and have your legs up to the wall. Otherwise, press into your feet and lift your hips up so you can put the flat side of the big side of the block under your sacrum. You do an inversion and just lift your legs up here. So make sure the block is not on your spine, it's on the back of your pelvis. And just relax here for about a minute, letting your blood flow reverse, bringing really fresh stuff up to your brain. Stay with your breath, so this can be like a little mini meditation. Just follow your breath. Notice how it moves in your body. Your diaphragm is working a little bit more against gravity here, so that's a good workout for your diaphragm. You can rotate your ankles, take any movement you like. And then bend your knees, let your feet come to the mat. Press in lightly to your feet and lift your hips so you can take the block out of the way. And we're going to do a twist. Twists are really nice to help get the lymph system moving and get out the toxins that we don't get out with our exhale. So straighten out your right leg. Just hitch yourself a little bit over onto your right hip a little more. Bend your left knee and draw your left knee across your right leg. Left arm can come out shoulder height, palm up. You can have your right hand on your right knee. You can put a support under there. Make anything that makes this comfortable for you. And then your gaze, drishti, can be straight up or toward the right or toward the left. Depends on what you want to do, what feels good in your body today. So you're going to hold this for a minute or so. So just settle into the twist, and your breath here, just like during the rest of the asana practice, slow, deep, and even. So nice full breath, inhale, equally full exhale. And try sending the inhale right to the area where you feel the most stretch. And remember, it should be a good stretch, not a painful stretch. So send your inhale there. And then on the exhale, notice where you can find some release of tension. So the slow breathing signals to our bodies that they can relax, the muscles can relax. There's not a stress situation. So send that message on your exhale, just release. And there's also evidence that holding a stretch for a minute and a half or 2 minutes creates some kind of resets the muscles, is maintained for the benefits stay longer. Okay, then come on out of the twist on that side and set up the twist on the other side. So this time, right knee comes, I'm going to hitch a little bit over onto my hip and let the right knee come over. Now your sides are different. This is my hip arthritis side, so make any modifications that you want or need for this side. And remember, no judgment. You're helping your body, doing what your body's asking for, not what your mind wants you to do necessarily. Stay with your inner awareness. So with sensations, what you're feeling, stay with your breath, your thoughts. If you start attaching to your thoughts, come back. Just come back to your inner awareness, your breath, each moment as it comes. About another 30 seconds. Get the most out of this. Find release. And take your time moving into Shavasana. If there's any movement or pose that you'd like to take before Shavasana, give yourself some time to do that. And eventually move in. We're going to have a nice long Shavasana today, about 5 minutes, I hope. So make sure you're symmetrical and cozy. Have any support you need. And as you get there, just surrender. Surrender to the moment. Stay in the moment. Be present. Maybe just aware of everything but attaching to nothing. gently bring your awareness back to your space. Begin to awaken your body slowly. And gently draw one knee at a time into your chest. Come over onto your side and just rest with your head in your arms for a few breaths. Just noticing where you are at the end of practice. You've still got a little more to go. And use your arms to bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. We're going to do a pretty quick little pranayama at the end of practice. So come up to a seat, close your eyes, sit with a tall, straight spine. This is from my friend, he's not really my friend, but Wim Hof, someone that I like to read about and do his practices. But it's called Breathing for Stress Control, and it's also a yoga practice called Be Breath. So what it is we're gonna start. I'm gonna tell you first before we do it. Actually, I think we'll do one just for practice, and then I'm gonna set the timer for 1 minute, and we're gonna do it for 1 minute. So get comfortable. Breathe in deeply through your nose. And then with your lips slightly together, breathe out with a hum sound or ah or om. So take a deep breath in and then breathe out making Keep going until you run out of breath, and then take an inhale and do it again. So don't start yet. So I just want to say that on the out breath, I like to have my lips just slightly together and hum so they vibrate slightly. If you practice Om, which is a universal sound that some people do in yoga, you can breathe in and go Om. The same kind of thing. Your lips are maybe a little slightly apart and you're exhaling through your mouth. Or just ah. So the point is to make that sound until you run out of breath and then take another inhale. So I'm going to time you for a minute. If you want, you can count how many breaths you take, but you don't have to. So start, no air in, and now inhale. And then exhale with whatever sound you want. And continue. Okay, that's a minute, so stop. If you counted your breath, Wim Hof says we normally breathe 10, 11, 12, 13 times a minute, but this practice, sometimes you find that you're only breathing 4, 5, 6 times a minute. So that is engaging your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the calming. It massages the spine, that little vibration, and it brings you into your body. So that's another practice you can try at home. Okay, so I invite you to bring your hands, palms together at your heart space. Thank you for coming to yoga today. Thank yourself for giving yourself this time. Your body is thanking you too. And I am so happy that you came to practice and let me share it with you. And the light in me bows to and honors the very same light in each one of you. Namaste. Okay, have a great week, and I will see you back here next week. Bye.